Hi, welcome to my garden. Today we're going to talk about 13 cold weather crops you should have in your succession plan for a successful garden. And after doing this for a couple of years, one thing I found, even your coldest hardy plants do pretty good if you have some protection for them. That's why we have the plastic out here. That's why we have the plastic totes. These work really well as a little mini greenhouse. And having a couple buckets of water to help hold that plastic down is also a good idea. Now the only reason we do this, take this extra time because it will be cold out here, is because we love how this stuff tastes. We know what's in it, we know what's on it. Nothing. It's completely natural. If we were in the times of my great-grandparents where we had to eat out of the garden, I would also concentrate on some wild edibles. They hold up really well in really cold weather. Dandelions, curly dock, clover. They're all edible and they require no extra help from us. Now our cool weather, which would be your snap peas, get really sweet as it gets cooler at night. Once it gets down to a certain temperature, they can't even hold up. What we're talking about today is cold weather crops. When I think of really cold weather crops, there's about 4 groups that I like to think about. That's leafy greens, that's your lettuces, and there's several different kinds there. Next, you have your alliums, which is your onions, your garlic, your leeks, your chives, your shallots. With those, you're not going to get much of a harvest until spring or early summer. Now with the chives and some of the green onions, you'll be able to get those early. They are very cold hardy and don't require any kind of covering in most areas. And then you got your root crops, your radishes, your carrots, your turnips. And has anybody ever said you can't have enough beets? And the beautiful thing about what I just listed, you can eat the whole plant. And then the next group, very cold hardy, are your brassicas, your cabbages, your broccoli, your cauliflower, and then the champion of all, your kale. Number 1 on my list is cabbage. And the reason I'm picking that as number 1 is you can eat it raw as a slaw, it's great fermented, and then you can make first of the garden or last of the garden chow chow. You were here when I planted these not very long ago. I have not put any broccoli or cauliflower in yet. I'm going to start some of those in the house. Cauliflower for me is a little tougher to grow. Broccoli is okay, and they go into the spring really well. But I want to get my cabbages going now, so I got a nice head going by spring. Now this lettuce was protected by that squash that died back in that last freeze we had. We've already taken quite a few leaves off of that. We're going to continue to eat off of that. We also have this variety of purple lettuce I planted around these peas. These were not covered, got down to 22 degrees, and they did just fine. Along with succession planting our lettuce, this batch of beets are doing fine. I like to have beets coming up all year round, and they do really well in the cold weather. Now the next thing on our list, which is also related to beets, but does not have a root, is our Swiss chard. These are beautiful examples of Swiss chard. And these leaves can be eaten raw, and they can be cooked in several different kinds of dishes. We just adore this. As it gets colder, these leaves get sweeter. And until you've had some winter Swiss chard, you don't know what you're missing. But then again, back to our root crops, our carrots, and Chubby's brother came by and nipped off a bunch of the tops of these, but they're gonna be just fine. We planted these late summer, and then we came back and we planted these, and they made it through that cold snap without a hitch. We just planted these and they're just now starting to get their first true leaves. Another crop we plant all year long is radishes. One of the things most people don't realize is you can get more food just by the seed pods if you let radishes go to seed than you do just from the bulbs and the leaves. Harvesting those radish seed pods as they come on, you can put those in all kinds of cooking, and it adds a nice, really mild, spicy radish flavor. Really nice. And number 7 on our list is any and all of the choys. Bok choy, baby choy. These make wonderful little plants. We got into the 80s the last couple days, and they're already going to flower. And when a choy flowers, you can garnish your salad, you can garnish whatever you're cooking, or you can just eat it. I just love the choy flowers. Now number 8 on our list is spinach. This is another one I'd like to grow all year round, but it does not like the heat at all. You can see the difference in these spinach plants versus the ones that were uncovered over that cold snap. These are growing nicely. These have already got their first 2 true leaves coming on. This is going to be a nice little patch here pretty quick. And number 9 on our list is turnips, another root crop that you can eat the leaves. These haven't been in the ground very long. They're already making nice little bulbs. But that'll get to be the size of my fist. Now number 10 on our list is shallots and onions and garlic. We planted those next to that garlic that voluntarily came up, but I've got onions growing throughout the entire garden. We companion planted quite a few onions through the tomatoes. This row we planted last year. We've been harvesting right along. These we're going to go ahead and let go to seed for next spring. Then number 11 is collards. We're going to put a few collards up front. And I'm going to get in trouble because these get really big. And number 12 on our cold hardy list is arugula. And then it got cold enough that it froze solid and it's still going gangbusters. It got nipped a little bit, but we'll give this a little cover and it'll last all winter long. And of course, number 13, the grand champion of cold hardy plants, kale. Now kale gets a very bad rap. But once it freezes a couple times, those sugars come up into the leaves. It's a whole different plant, especially these young leaves down in here. I can't explain what they taste like. If you've never experienced it, you need to grow some winter kale. You can do this too. Just make it part of your succession plan all year round. And if you've never grown winter crops, what better time than right now to start? I guarantee you, it'll taste different than anything you've ever eaten. If you'd like to see what we did in December last year, click that link and I'll meet you back in the garden. And until next time, remember, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and God bless you. Come on, let's plant.
Let's go plant garden.